Scapers, and welcome to another edition of Citi Scape right here on Citi TV. So we're in the new year, and that often brings a euphoric feeling of hopes of a new beginning, the new year, new me vibe. But sometimes that can also bring about a funk, a blues. So I've pulled Apiorkor here today at Vida E Cafe in East Legon to find out how do you get your groove back when you're feeling that way. This is Emefa Chikata, and you're watching Citi Scape.
What are your opinions? Join the conversation on social media with the hashtags Citi Scape and MyScape, and via the handle at Citi Scape GH as well on Instagram.
Hi Apiorkor.
Hi Emefa.
What's up?
Nothing much. What's up?
I'm good.
How are you doing?
You know what? I've been better, to be honest.
What's wrong?
Well, you know it's a new year, and sometimes you start off feeling like, new year, new me. Other times you feel like you're in a bit of a funk, you feel a little burnt out, especially when you're at a crossroads. So I've been wondering, how do you pull yourself out of that funk when you're feeling that way, when everyone around you seems so encouraged, so refreshed because it's a new year?
I find it interesting that you link it to the new year, because I don't think it's just a new year thing.
Really?
I think throughout the year, throughout our lives, there are those moments when we feel lower than higher.
But especially the new year though, because it's
because
like
all these expectations.
Exactly. Some people make their New Year's resolutions.
You're right. And I think that sometimes we're too hard on ourselves. See, moving from December to January, it's just moving from month 1 to month 2, from month A to month B.
But it's a new year though.
It is a new year. But what I'm saying is that as human beings, I just think we like to give ourselves markers. Life doesn't work with markers. It throws things at you, and you need to swim.
True.
See? But I mean, it's good to have those markers sometimes, because it also gives you a pace, something to plan around, something to guide you in moving forward. But having said that, how do you get out of a funk?
And having said that though, I mean, you can't control life as well.
No.
You know, and
you have all these plans and things just go a different way.
Sometimes God just laughs when you make
Exactly.
plans. But yeah, personally, I mean, especially with the way I've been feeling recently, I've realized that there are a few things that I usually do to pull myself out of that dark place.
Well, that's a good start.
It's a very good start. And I'm not speaking as a healthcare professional, a mental healthcare professional or anything like that.
Not.
I feel when that low feeling keeps going.
You just experience life.
Exactly. And when that feeling keeps going, that's when you know it's time to see a professional. But I mean, when you're in that phase where it's up and down, just as life is, the first thing I like to do is to identify why I'm so stressed.
Very important.
People do it very differently. I know some people like to talk, ramble, and then when they do, they realize, things pop up that they hadn't really thought about before. But I personally like to write. I mean, I can take a notebook, write for days and days and pages, and go back and read it after a period of time. And that's when I realize certain things that have been stressing me out.
I'm going to take you back. I mean, so you love to write. I love to write too, like the poetry. But I'm also very much an open book. And being an open book, not just with other people, but with myself. A lot of people are scared to admit to themselves what they're going through, especially when they feel that those things might be negative. People don't like to look in the mirror of their life and see what's there. For several reasons. Some people have been lying to themselves, and so they've begun to live and first of all believe that lie, and now they're living the lie. Some people have lied to other people, and so they need to keep up those appearances. We keep saying this. There's so many poses, and I'm not even talking. I'm not even talking about money and financials. But just people who are not who they say they are or what they say they are.
There are a lot of people who are afraid to be vulnerable.
Of course.
And I find so much strength in being vulnerable. I feel like the strongest people can be vulnerable and open up and say, you know what, I'm not having a very good day, I'm struggling today. And I'm like that with you as well.
Of course.
So,
And the thing is, once you haven't taken that step to admit to yourself that, look, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm feeling, I'm upset about this makes me unhappy, I don't like my life the way it is, I don't like the choices.
Very tough.
It is very tough.
To have to
it is
face.
very tough. And I'm happy that you mentioned writing, because that's one of the first thing I did this year, or one of the first things I did, apart from getting a 2019 diary for all the work that comes with the year, I got a journal.
so did I.
And I mean, I've seen yours, you've seen,
Yeah.
and I just jot things
Yeah.
down. And sometimes those things are pleasant, sometimes they're not. And you see, once you're unwilling to face the facts, you will never be happy. That's the truth.
Yeah, so I think the very first place to start is to know exactly who you are, know the positives, the negatives, to identify when you're slipping into that dark place as well. Some people don't realize it. They only realize when they're there, when they're in that dark place, and it takes them weeks or months to get out of that. But I think knowing when you're slipping into, I don't want to call it a depression, but when you're slipping into a funk, it's very important to know exactly who you are and know exactly how to get yourself out of that funk and to make things a little better.
Speak to people you trust. If you don't trust anyone, find a professional. When I say a professional, it can be a clinical psychologist, it can
Or a
be your
counselor,
pastor, your
exactly.
counselor, your mother, your brother, some friend at work, just somebody who you feel you can confide in. The person can be honest with you, but still not be judgmental.
Yes.
It's very, very important.
Yeah, saying that though, one thing that really helps me when I feel like I'm slipping into a dark funk is to talk to my best friend. I mean, you know my BFF, who recently had a birthday. I mean, I would burn the sea for that girl. Speaking to somebody who absolutely loves you and absolutely wants the best for you and talks to you with no judgment at all, I think is so important. That goes back to knowing exactly who you are and being able to trust yourself and knowing the people you need in your life. You know, I have different friends for different purposes. Yasmin is quite well-rounded. We talk about professional things, personal things. I go to you for more professional than personal. The people I go to for professional. You get where I'm going with that. So it's very important to speak to those people when you feel like you're going into that dark place. People you feel safe enough to say to that, listen, I'm not having a very good day. Those are the people you should talk to. And adding on to that as well, when you feel like your cup is like, half empty, those people are likely to be feeling a little more full.
Definitely.
And I mean, would be willing to spread that positive energy and, help you to fill up your glass as well. So I think your friends are also very important.
And I mean, on the friend bit, I also want to say that sometimes there are those friends who are actually causing your stress.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Those friends who
Say
are
it louder
actually
for the people in the back,
those
please.
friends who are actually causing your stress, and sometimes it's even family members, and it's very difficult, especially when you've been friends with somebody for a long time, you've grown up together. It's very difficult to cut certain people off.
Yeah.
Me, I have no problems with that. I'll cut you off in a heartbeat, and it's not because I don't like having people around me, but I don't like people who drain my energy.
Yes.
I give a lot of myself to other people, and I have very little left for myself. And then there's my family, my son, and now I have another baby on the way, all that. So I have very little left for myself. So I don't need someone zapping it out of me,
Yeah.
and especially when you're giving so much and the person, you're not seeing any results. I'm sorry, at the end of the day, I'm not your mother.
Yes.
I don't owe it to you. I might owe it to the universe, to society, to God, to be your keeper, but I don't owe you that much,
Oh no, I completely
It's very
agree
important.
with you. It is very important. I'll tell you a funny story. I actually had a friend. We had a well over 10-year relationship, and I had to make the tough decision to cut this person out of my life because I realized that it wasn't a two-way relationship. I was giving so much and was getting so little back. It's not like I'm giving because I'm expecting to receive, but when you're giving to the point where it's detrimental, you have to make the decision to cut those people out of your life, but also assess yourself and assess where you went wrong in that relationship and why it didn't quite blossom the way it should have. So it doesn't mean, I think I'm perfect and as soon as someone rubs me up the wrong way, I'm going to cut them off. No, I'll definitely assess the role I had to play
and it's precisely
cut
because
that
we're not
envelope
perfect that
forward.
we have to do this. Because we're not perfect, we can't be perfect for other people. No, that's what it
That
is.
is true.
That's what it is. And you see, sometimes you're sitting down and you ask yourself why you're feeling a certain way, and it's because people are just zapping your energy.
and putting some ridiculous expectation on you to be perfect. Thank you, Richie. This is my favorite way to hear,
Hi, Richie. Hi, Emefa's favorite.
What am I having today?
Let's do.
You know what? I'll have the usual. I will have a vanilla soya latte. Yes. and with a little bit extra on the sides. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. Oh yes, some small shots of Baileys.
So I'd like a hot chocolate grande.
Grande.
Yes. And
You want some whipped cream on it?
a little, just a little.
Or what?
Okay, I think I'd like a chocolate donut to go with that.
Yeah, okay. So meatballs with fries. Thank you.
These balls is fries.
Yes. Thank you.
Now that we've got our stomach sorted, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is Citi Scape.
Go.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you. 30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Go.
Hello Cityscapers, we're back from our commercial break. Still here with Apiorkor talking about how to get your groove back when you're in a bit of a funk. So, Apiorkor, you were talking about your friends and the importance of sieving or weeding out the bad friends who drain you. So how do you do that? Do you just cut them off?
No, I think, you take your time, you assess the situation. Like I was saying, there are always those friends when you sit back and you tell yourself, okay, you know what, you're building, the food is here. Yay. You're building the right networks, you're meeting the right people, you're doing the right things, you're making the right choices, but there's always something off. There's always that one friend, you're jetting off to an important meeting, then they call you, this happened, can you, this happened, can you come and sort me out? There's always that one friend. Or you saved up all your money, then the friend calls you, you know what, I spent all my money on this, can you help me out?
Or those friends who always try to steal your shine.
Have
you noticed those ones? Those who never have anything good to say whenever things are going well.
Exactly, and those are the worst ones.
Yeah.
And I also mentioned family members who do that too.
I think that's the most difficult thing to deal with.
And sometimes it's even the person you're in a relationship with. And that can even be more complicated.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling anyone go leave your relationship or get out of your marriage or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you really want to move forward in 2019 and beyond,
that's good. I'm definitely going to steal some. Thanks, Richie.
If you really want to move forward in 2019 and beyond, and in life, really, sometimes you need to be asking yourself these hard questions, and it's difficult.
You need to make those tough decisions and put yourself first.
Sometimes it might mean that that's your source of livelihood. The person who's giving you money, the person who's giving you a roof over your head. And so you need to think about it very carefully.
And really put a price on your peace, your mental health, your peace of mind.
It's very, very, very important.
So important.
Another thing, clean your space.
Yes.
Yeah, very important.
Yes. Anytime I feel low, the first thing I do is to clean.
And I think there's doing that physically, emotionally, figuratively. When you cut certain people off, that's cleaning your space too.
Yes, it is.
But then even physically
decluttering the space you spend the most amount of time in, your bedroom, even tidying up your clothes, sweeping your room, opening your windows, burning incense, even if you're not into that sort of thing. Just do something to make your space feel a little more safe. And that usually brings you a lot more clarity. Yeah. And onto something else that isn't necessarily a deep way to get out of a funk. I usually just play good music. I mean, I love all this cheesy pop. I know a lot of people are not into that. But I'll play some Queen, I'll play some, Ali and AJ. I'll play really poppy music that gets me going, where I dance like I really, how I dance, like with reckless abandon. No rhythm, just doing little things that make you happy. Or even putting makeup on, making yourself look pretty, posing for pictures in your bedroom. That can go a long way as well. So
one of my closest friends, Nanefa woman, she's in the States. Hi, Nanefa, but she watches Citi Scape. So I was asking my girls, there's Sandra, there's Nanama, there's Efiba, there's Priscilla, who's all the way in Tamale, and then there's Nanefa in the States, and she's a doctor. So she's constantly stressed.
Yeah.
And I asked them, what do you do? And Nanefa says, have a one-man party dance.
Oh, yeah.
Just in tune with putting on your music and just dance if that's your thing.
She
dance,
sounds
have
right
fun.
up my alley,
You know.
honestly. That is exactly what
And then
I would do.
Nanama says, you know what? Sometimes just take time off and sleep. Rest, and resting can just be laying on your bed. But if you can, just sleep.
Take
you
as
know.
much time as you possibly can. And you know what? Piggybacking off, taking some time off to have a good night's sleep, or even if it's a day's rest that you need, taking a social media sabbatical. I can't tell you the number of times a week I will put
second
my
that.
phone on Do Not Disturb, because we use our phones quite a lot working in the media. So sometimes I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I'll only check maybe every hour, every 2 hours. But sometimes, usually on Sundays, I will switch my phone off completely. You can't reach me. It's just me and Ocean watching TV shows, watching something funny, or pretty much just having a nap. But I think because of the way social media affects us so much now, especially in this day and age, it's so important to cut yourself off and not compare yourself to others.
I totally agree with you. I have weekends where I do what I call social media blackout.
Ooh.
So even when
God, you're so dramatic.
Yeah, so even if I'm out and about, I'm not looking at anything on social media because look, it's draining enough to have to walk into work every morning and hear the things that are happening in Ghana and around the world. It's draining enough to see some of the things that people are going through. For example, we've got these Takrady girls,
Exactly.
all these things happening around us.
Watching the news can bring you
It
down.
can be very
as well.
draining.
Yeah.
It can be very draining. And then there are also things on social media that you're seeing, you're hearing, that you don't even realize are frustrating or, rubbing you the wrong way. I have some friends, right? So they're not married. They're single ladies and they're looking to get into relationships. I'm not pimping them, but yeah, you can call me. I'll hook you. Emefa is one too. But these girls, we had a conversation sometime last year, and they were very honest and said, you know what? Whenever they see all these weddings popping up on all these Instagram wedding pages and whatnot, it gets depressing for them. So we came to a conclusion. I said, well, personally, I don't follow them. Partly because when I was going to have my wedding, I didn't want to be influenced by what the norms or the trends were. I wanted to do it my way. And you can get sucked up in all that because it looks really nice.
The brain is an amazing
It looks really
thing.
flashy. It is. But also because I just didn't want to be tied to people's standards. So we said, okay, let's cleanse our social media. So they stopped following all these wedding pages, and they tell me that they're so much happier as single women because now they're not looking for what people are expecting them to have. They're looking for what they truly want.
That is very interesting.
It's making the
because
journey more
one thing I
beautiful.
absolutely, stand by, swear by, is training my brain. And I mean that on two levels. Training my brain in a way that I'm grateful for what I have. So I practice gratitude every morning. As soon as I open my eyes, the first thing that pops into my head, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for my job, whatever it is. I have to say one thing, at least for a minute. Just ponder on that thing that I'm grateful for that day. And the second thing I like to do is to do brain training exercises. I know it might sound really technical, but the brain is such an amazing thing that even by doing a crossword puzzle or even by downloading some free brain training app that I've randomly found either on Google or Apple or whatever it is, it releases endorphins or happy hormones, and that really gets you in a better space. You can also do exercise, and that also releases endorphins.
Absolutely.
So whatever it is, just open yourself up to the possibilities of being happy, because usually things that get us down are things we can change, and things that we're afraid to even face in the mirror every day. So, just the little things you can do here and there to get you out of that funk, I think go a long way.
Another thing, trying to, should I say, accomplish small tasks.
Yes.
So it's not about getting some job at some big place at the end of the year. It's not about saving a certain amount of money, getting married, just little things. So you know that, okay, your fridge is dirty, you need to clean it. Write it down. So that journal we're talking about at the beginning of the conversation, write it down. Can even be on a piece of paper. Just
Sticky
a little
notes
sticky
are
note.
amazing.
Yeah. So clean the fridge or clean the freezer.
Yeah.
Cook some stew. Just simple stuff.
Yeah.
Polish your shoes.
Long-term goals are great.
Yeah, like a
but
list of 5 things that you can do in one day, like
Yeah.
one Saturday or one Sunday after church, or maybe, I'm not saying you shouldn't go to church, but there are some days when even going to church can be draining because
Yes.
you're around people.
Yes.
you go to church, people are also expecting to see a certain side of
Exactly.
you, and that
Asking
can
you
also
certain questions,
Exactly.
having to answer for certain
Exactly.
things you haven't even figured out yourself.
Precisely.
We really need to have a conversation about that.
We will.
Yeah.
We will. But just your top 5 for the day. And then go through the list one by one. So you clean your fridge, you polish your shoes, you iron for the week.
And that little feeling of accomplishment.
It's the most amazing
every
thing.
day, if you accomplish one
most
small
amazing
task,
thing.
just garnering up all of that inspiration can help you to face the big tasks that you've been hiding away from, that you feel you're not good enough for. But honestly, finally, this is one thing that has really helped me over the years whenever I'm feeling this way, is to reflect on your wins. This is something I personally struggled with because I'm such an ambitious
overachiever.
I'm so ambitious, and I never really took the time to appreciate the little things that I had accomplished. And it got to the point where even when I finished my master's degree, I didn't take time to celebrate. It was literally like, okay, master's
On to
done.
the next thing.
I went to a top 10 UK university, top 50 in the world, Russell Group and everything. Okay, on to the next one. What's the next thing? And I felt so burnt out, and I didn't understand why I never felt fulfilled. And it's because I never took the time to give myself a pat on the back. It doesn't mean you're encouraging yourself to be complacent. It just means you're giving yourself props where props are due. So taking time to acknowledge what you've accomplished, I think, goes a long way.
I agree with you, and I think that a lot of us wait for gratification and validation from other people.
Yes.
We want other people to tell us you're beautiful, you're handsome, or you're doing
smart.
well, you're smart, you're intelligent, I'm proud of you. Sometimes just tell yourself, I'm proud of you. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in a room where you can't pay your electricity bills at the moment, you don't have water flowing through your taps, you don't know what you're eating for your next meal. The fact that you're alive and you've got from point A to point B is enough.
Yes.
Once you're able to congratulate yourself for that little thing, or even overcoming a challenge. Maybe you're not moving forward because there's a challenge that I haven't been able to deal with. Now you acknowledge that's a challenge. Congratulate yourself for being able to acknowledge, because like I said in the beginning, people lie to themselves all the time, and now they're living lies,
So
and they're suffering
the
for it.
small wins
Absolutely.
goes a long way.
And then you tell yourself, look, Apiorkor, I love you, I'm proud of you. Emefa, I love you, I'm proud of you.
Look in the
You don't-
mirror.
yes.
Be your biggest cheerleader.
You don't need anyone else to say it.
Yeah.
And when you've done that, the bigger things, they become easier to achieve.
Exactly. So this has been Citi Scape on Citi TV. We hope that we've helped you to find a way to get that groove back. The show continues.
What are your opinions? Join the conversation on social media with the hashtags Citi Scape and MyScape, and via the handle at Citi Scape GH as well on Instagram. Now let's find out what's new in the city.
Babe, thank you so much for meeting here with me. But just to wrap
But I
up.
hope you're okay.
No, I feel so much better now after that conversation. But just to wrap up, I feel, self-assessment, self-validation, get a journal if you have to, reflect and try and acknowledge what the source of your stress is. Eat the right foods, exercise, train your brain, practice gratitude, and just give yourself a pat on the back for coming this far, really. Apiorkor?
Final words. It's very difficult in the society that we live in, Ghanaian society, and the world at large, but really in Ghana, to acknowledge who you are. A lot of us are unable to acknowledge who we are because we're afraid that the world and society will not accept that. Acknowledge who you are, and I'm telling you that's the first step to greatness in anything. And then don't tie your successes to things like money and houses. I keep saying this: money, nice houses, nice cars, all the material things. Tie your successes to the impact you're making in society and the fulfillment that brings, and you'll be happy.
Fantastic, Apiorkor. Well, this has been Citi Scape on Citi TV. We hope that we've been able to help you to get out of the funk and to get your groove back. Join us soon.
And eat.
Oh, and eat. Join us again soon.